Hey everyone, it's Jakov, and I'm here today with a new video for the channel. Today's video being a battle replay for the Last Alliance Total War. This battle is going to be a clash between an army of the Kingdom of Numenor fighting against an army of the Black Snake Haradrim clan. The battle being sent in by Ellan Enish, who is playing as the Haradrim, fighting against his friend Cambus, playing as the Numenorians. If you're new here, Last Alliance Total War is a mod for Total War Shogun 2 that sets the game in the second age of Middle-earth. Now if you guys want to send me battle replays to cover, feel free to send them to my email, which is linked in both my channel description as well as my video descriptions, or send them to me via Discord, be it the service for Total War The Dawnless Days, Last Alliance Total War, or for Ice and Fire Total War, War for Westeros. All three of these will be wonderful if you want to send me battle replays. With that said, we're going to put the battle in slow motion and start by checking out the armies, then letting the clash begin. So here we've got the Haradrim force led by its general unit, Nizar, the unique general for the faction, looking absolutely amazing as a cataphract unit, with his wonderful unit right here. Next to him we've got two units of Serpent Cataphract, so pretty heavily armoured cavalry force on this flank of the army. Then behind them we've got two squadrons of the Serpent Lancers, slightly less armoured cavalry but still fairly heavily armoured. And then back here another two squadrons of cavalry. Then turning to the main core of the army in the centre, we've got the Horror of the Deserts, very elite spearmen who also double as archers or vice versa. We've got Serpent Fencers, the more elite swordsmen of the faction. We've got a couple units of the Desert Warriors, they're line spearmen. And then over on this far flank here, we've got a couple units of the Trident Slingers, which are their starting range unit. Not exactly the most lethal unit, but a large one nonetheless. Then turning back over here to the Numenorian army, we've got their general unit, Miriel leading her bodyguard. I will say though, Miriel looks a bit different from the way she does her Rings of Power, as do her army actually as a general. I say they look better here. Behind her we've got a unit of the Numenorian City Guard, which is a unique archer unit just for this faction. The Empire of Numenor doesn't have it if I remember correctly. Then supporting them we've got a couple units of the Numenorian Steelbowmen, the professional archers of the faction who use the legendary weapon of the Numenorians. Then in front of them we've got the Numenorian Swordmasters and elite shock infantry unit. Very tough, very interested to see how these guys field. Then in front of them we've got Numenorian heavy infantry, which are the heavy spearmen of the faction. And for the most part her army is just a mix of these units. So as we can see, the cavalry's moved over to the flank, and I don't know, in a way the formation taken up to the Numenorians is weird here because they don't have a battle line, they're just split up into different blocks, but the forests are also acting as a bit of a barrier too. Archer fire begins, and the first casualties of the battle go down. If I was them, I'd be aiming very heavily for the Horror of the Desert because these guys are absolutely lethal in battle. You really want to get rid of these guys before they can deploy properly. There go their recurve bows, and the return fire commences. And we've got a slugging match between both sides. Forces are manoeuvring around, cavalry swinging up, which, great position to take, get right behind the enemy's forces, force them to split their troops up bit by bit. And the Serpent Fencers are charging. We're going to get our first clash of infantry. And in both sides go. Spearmen, get in support, yeah. Looking back, the cavalry is getting ready to go in, but they're being pelted by the archers, which is good. You want to kill as many of these guys before they can join the battle. And the cataphracts are charging, and sword masters come charging out of the forest and get hit by the serpent lancers somewhat, but they're just going to keep going with the goal of catching out the cataphracts, who smack right into the city guard. A good unit to smack into. Fires them all to try pinball around a little bit before falling back, but still. Now, to their credit, the sword masters aren't actually doing too bad here, hacking down these armoured cataphracts. And along the line, the battle continues. Heavy infantry versus the desert warriors. Yeah, this clash here could really go either way in terms of the numbers involved. I just love the contrast of the colours. The gleaming silver and blue of the Numenorians versus the red and somewhat bronze of the Haradrim. And already one unit of the city guard is wavering because of the damage they've taken. But, nah, they're recovering. Cavalry's still swinging around. The Serpent Lancers haven't taken too bad in the way of casualties, and they're charging back downhill again, straight into the city guard, and yep, that's what you want to do. You want to be smacking them as hard as you can. I'd say in this case, not taking up a box formation by the Numenorians is probably a mistake, because they've given the enemy just gaps in the line from where they can hit them as hard as they want. So yeah, that's probably something you don't want. And the sword masters are still coming, charging uphill against cataphracts, which is an insane move. And the fact that the unit wasn't obliterated by that charge kind of stands testament to how tough they are. As you can see, they're forcing the horsemen into retreat. Yeah, that unit of serpent cataphracts is almost gone. Lancers come swinging in again, straight to the city guard. This bouncing back and forth is necessary. Though I would say you could potentially also just smash into the rear of the infantry formations already engaged to do damage. Like, maybe that'd be a better choice than smashing to the support units in the back. But I can really see it going either way. They're in a nasty position here because of the crossfire from the archers. Now the archers are being harried by the enemy forces, so work to their advantage. See the damage that does to them. Not too bad, all things considered. Cataphracts just come charging in. Just trying to be a rear charge. Well, you can't really see too much of the screen because of all the shadow. They do kind of like the dappled effect of fighting underneath the trees in the shade. And now the Numenorian City Guard come charging in with their swords, clashing with the serpent fences to give the heavy infantry support. This heavy infantry unit is now has its back to the horror of the desert, who, lucky for them, aren't being shot in the back by, because they kind of be doomed, but they are fighting the horror of the desert, who, yeah, that might be a big issue. This unit of desert warriors has been completely obliterated. I mean, yeah, I'd say at that point there's no real reason to waste your volleys shooting straight into their backs. I mean, the corpses of the skirmishers of the desert tribesmen just litter the battlefield here. They really weren't too much of an issue, all things considered. Yeah, the way this battle is going, I could see it really going either way. Just as both sides keep hitting each other hard and fast. But the archers are doing significant damage to all these archers. Archers are doing significant damage to all these horsemen. I should say that was a bit of a fumble on my part. City guard running around, getting ready to engage again, ready to smash into the infantry formations over here. Yet still the fighting continues. At least they've gotten rid of one of the cavalry units. Every bit of mobile enemy power that goes, that kind of helps buttress your victory. But still, the cavalry is a menace where it is, floating around the battlefield. Tar-Miriel and her forces have engaged some casualties, but still not doing too bad. This unit of Steelbowmen takes the force of the charge, allowing the general unit to just pour fire into the flanks of the enemy cavalry. They get one final one off. Ooh, they did. They just get trampled by the lancers. But even then, I think one of the units broke. And the cataphract forces, they're being significantly reduced at this point. Archers still standing strong, but 4 units of cataphract smashing into you probably isn't the best thing. And over here we've got a unit of swordmasters who just aren't doing anything. I think the player must have forgotten that they're here, but if so, that's a... yeah, I hope he remembers, because using these guys might be the key to victory, and if he loses because of that, it's going to be pretty funny, but also it's going to be a lesson to the people watching that always keep track of your units. Even the smallest ones can help be the thing that give you a victory. Just looking at the battle, good god, there are corpses everywhere. Over here, the fighting was incredibly fierce. Same thing as here. Pretty bad over here, all things considered too, but... okay, now here, if I was them, I'd clump their units together. Splitting your forces up and sending them in piecemeal, I don't really see that working well. Like, all of these units, I would have brought them all up and hit this whole of the desert clump from behind. Because what you've got now is just 1-2 units trying to hold the line as best as they can. And they're liable to be smashed into by this cavalry once these guys are dealt with. So, unless you want the enemy infantry to suddenly overwhelm you, like, archer fire is good and all, but bring them straight up into the back, shoot, and then charge in. Yeah, otherwise this is going to happen. And this perfect trap that you've got set up is going to fall apart. Yeah, big weakness in strategy by making it be a battle of units rather than armies on the part of the Numenorians, as far as I'm concerned. Given that I'm pretty sure that the Haradrim have more forces to begin with, so by turning very much into a numbers game, they've kind of shot themselves in the foot. But the way the balance of power looks, they may well not matter that much. Here comes the cataphracts, and they catch him out. So I don't know what they were running for. Is it to join this fight here? Like, see, units here are already routing and shattered. And the heavy infantry is falling back. Like, that would have been the perfect time to just charge and take them in the rear. But instead, they just kind of sat back and didn't do too much. Still, that swordmaster unit over there is just hanging around. That could have been very useful right there. So an opportunity has definitely been lost. Ooh, nasty death having a spear that big go through your throat. Now, as this battle rages, I want you guys to tell me what your personal headcanon is for this battle. How it is that the forces of Nizar, of the Black Snake Clan, ended up fighting the army of Tar-Miriel of Numenor. My personal headcanon for it is maybe that an army of the Haradrim marched north into the more fertile territories of Middle-earth, controlled by Numenor, in order to defend those areas. Tar-Miriel marched out her own personal force, perhaps as a way to raise her support amongst the Numenorian people, and then here we are with both armies duking it out. Otherwise, let me know what you guys think. Ooh, my unit's not doing too good, and the cavalry is free to run around as they like. Nizar's force is absolutely smashing into the city guard. And there goes one of his cavalry units. They couldn't endure it, but the archers aren't doing too well either. Nor are the spearmen. Tar-Miriel and her unique spear archer unit is just going to town shooting these guys in the flank. And the units are routing. They might return, might not. And just like that, I'd say that, wow, is it not? I'd say the balance of power is mostly in favour of the Haradrim, but looking at it up here, it could really go either way. Yeah, those swordmasters really have to hurry the hell up and get into the fight. In come the cavalry, and bang. Yeah, I'd say focusing down the Haradrim general unit right now is the best chance they have of winning. Like, they've got 60 cataphracts left in the fight, all things considered. If they can get rid of those, then they might be able to do something about the whole of the desert block over here. But, even then, iffy. See, they're throwing the archers in now, the stillbowmen. But it would have been way better to do it earlier. Tar-Miriel smashes in. This unit of stillbowmen, which is just leisurely walking, I will add, instead of running in. Like, this is kind of ridiculous. It's got to be a little bit more. You got to fight the battle at the speed required. They're going to shoot, aren't they? They're not going to charge in. Oh, they are? Alright, good. See? This is what you want. Hit them from 3 sides at once. Doesn't help now that you're being charged by the Serpent Cataphracts, which, you know, wouldn't have been able to do before had you kept the enemy trapped in that little position you had, but still, it's good to see something being done. Although the question becomes, do 2 units of archers and 1 unit of spearmen become enough to beat 3 units of spearmen? I don't know about that. Especially with the cataphracts running around. Although, if the swordmasters joined in, it would certainly make an impact here. I mean, taking up spear formation too also probably wouldn't be or spear wolf formation wouldn't be a bad idea by Tar-Miriel, because she's capable of doing it and it'd give her a better ability to fend off charges from the cataphracts. Because they're just going to cycle charge this unit to death now. And I mean, why wouldn't they? They're the perfect target. And in they go again. Yeah, just get ready to be seeing a lot of this. Yeah, her 2 units are there. The Sword Master's still there, have they broken? Because if they broke without engaging, that's a travesty. Stillbowmen are wavering and gone. Now it's purely Tar-Miriel alone, and with her just left fighting, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it and say this is very much a Haradrim victory. Okay, no, it's still there, but it's breaking in the distance. It's advancing, which is good to see. So I'm guessing he finally remembered it was there, but it's too late now. Yep, the cavalry's going to smash right into it, and they're going to break. It's funny, the one unit that really stood a good chance of killing the cavalry is out of the fight before it could properly engage. And in they go again, and yeah. It appears Tar-Miriel will probably be a prisoner of the Haradrim, more so than their conqueror. And the unit's gone. And there we have it. A costly victory for the Haradrim. Honestly, really good battle that could have gone either way. Really enjoyed it. Anyway, we're going to end the battle. We're going to check out the stats of both armies to see how they did. Always love these little quotes at the bottom of the screen. Just helps kind of tie the mod all in together. And then of course, the images also do it as well. Like the beautiful prancing pony sigil of Bree, with the Republic of Breeland, if I remember correctly, the faction is called. So there we have it, our two generals, Ellan Enish and Cambus. The Haradrim force had almost 1,000 more soldiers than the Numenorian army, and suffered almost 700 more casualties. I'm going to go into the unit statistics, and looking at Nizar, he killed 164 enemies, very good. Horror of the Desert, 194, 218, very, very good. 187, also very good. 58, not too good, but the other units made up for it. Serpent Fencers, 94 kills, 125 kills, 93 kills, 83 kills, not too good. Infantry didn't really do too much here. Desert Warriors, 74 kills, 37 kills, 61 kills, 31 kills. 61 kills. Bad. Desert Warriors did not do well. Tribesmen Slingers, 31 kills and 31 kills. Funny they got the exact same number of kills. They didn't do too well, but then again, were you expecting them to? They're literally a bronze unit here. They're a starting unit. Moving down, the Cataphracts, 77 kills. It's not good. They almost broke even. 227 kills though, that is amazing. 33 kills, not so much. Pretty poor, really. Almost a failure there. 56 kills, that's pretty bad. 63 kills, that's pretty bad. And 61 kills. Okay, so it's really the Cataphracts, the archers, and the general unit that were the real killers of the army. And they proved that the only things that needed to be, given they won. But had the other units done more, the victory might have been less costly. Moving down to Cambus's Numenorian army. Tar-Miriel did great, getting 264 kills. Sword Masters did great, getting 210. This other one got 83, which is pretty poor, and I'm guessing that's the one that he forgot to field. The Sword Masters got 125, not too bad. Heavy Infantry, 214 kills. That's pretty damn good, given that the Heavy Infantry are a defensive unit and meant to buy time, not kill enemies. 147 for the other unit, almost broke even. We can't really say too much there. 173 by another one, that's pretty good. And 90 by these guys, that's pretty poor effort. This unit of Steelbowmen got 356 kills, which is amazing, but not as amazing as this one that got 467. Right there, that's almost over 800 kills between just two units. 185 by the other one, that's fantastic. And 151, also pretty good. So the Steelbowmen more than did their duty. And honestly, like, they were probably the best bet they had of winning the battle. Then the City Guard did pretty poorly, only getting 91 and 81 kills apiece. So yeah, both armies definitely had units that elevated their fighting ability, while others had units that really brought it down. Now, as I said at the beginning of the video, if you guys want to send in battle replays, and for me to cover of course, you can send them to my email or to me over Discord. Either one will do. If you guys have enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. I know it might not seem like much to you guys, but for such a small channel, it really does mean the world. Rest assured, more videos will be coming up in the future, be it on this mod or any of the other ones I've currently covered, and potentially new ones I might surprise you guys with. With all this said, this is your host Jakov, signing out.